A little bit ago, I made a video on how to grow brats and gave some tips. And I said in the video that I don't like to use charcoal for brats because it gets too hot. Well, I started thinking, I do grow brats over charcoal, but I do it in a rather specific way. So, here's my tips on how to make some good brats over charcoal.
Okay, first tip I have for you about brats, and I don't give a damn how you're cooking them. Get them from a butcher's shop. Trust me, you'll be much happier later. Also, another universal tip is before you put these on charcoal or, hell, gas, you want to put them in a pot. This just adds a bit of a depth of flavor. Just put them in a pot. Okay, then you just want to add some old beer here. And the type really doesn't matter. I'm just using Budweiser. It'll take about 4, 5, maybe 6 beers, depending on the size of your pot and how many brats you are building up. And I will say I got to kind of do a little sneak here. It is a new piece of equipment that I'm using, and I wanted to make sure the damn thing was on. Anyway, I will say this. If you're going to do the beer thing with brats, I wouldn't do like a craft beer because, what's the point? And a lot of people love their craft beers, but they are like, $10 a six-pack. Me, I like Budweiser. That's why I'm using this. But if you're going to do the beer brats, I would recommend a cheaper beer because you're just trying to impart some flavor to it. So, anywho, all right. And while these things, and then let them boil a little bit in the beer bath. And while they're boiling up and getting all nice and infused with some beer flavor, time to start the charcoal. Okay, as you can see, I've got the grill here set up for indirect heat. If you don't know what that is the hot coals on one side of your grill, and on the other side you have nothing. Now we're going to be primarily cooking the brats over the indirect side, but for right now, all I want to do is put them directly over the coals for just a few minutes, just to sear off that beer film that they kind of get when they come out of the beer bath. So just a couple of minutes, sear that shit off, and then move them over to the other side. And after a couple of minutes, you want to make sure to give these brats a little old flip. You just want to sear them over the hot coals. You don't want to cook them over the hot coals because it's too hot and the brats will explode all over the goddamn grill. Okay, let's start moving these brats indirect. That's how we're going to cook them for this whole thing. One last thing here. This is optional, but I grabbed some applewood chunks, and you want to just add them over the coals, put the top on, and then wait for about a good half an hour or so. And keep cooking and turning the brats till they're 165 internal. One last thing, you do want to adjust the vents so it's about 300 degrees. Not too hot. And that's really it. That's my tips on how to grow brats over charcoal. Sear them up a little bit, move them over to indirect heat, excuse me. And when they hit 165 internally, which should be about 30 minutes, pull them out the grill. That's it. Easy. Done. Oh, and incidentally, if you're wondering, these brats were cheddar cheese brats and pepper jack cheese brats. So yeah, that's it. That's how I grow brats over charcoal.